Hello and welcome to this fireside chat. I am Kalpana Singhal, editor-in-chief CXO TV, and today we have Chirag Boonlia, Group CTO at Embassy Group, as our guest today. A digital transformation catalyst, a passionate leader, an entrepreneur in spirit, a mentor with flair of engineering, technology, and business acumen. Chirag is on a mission to challenge the status quo and create a new paradigm. Having worked in various roles and responsibilities in business transformation initiatives transcending across multiple domains, real estate, distribution, manufacturing, retail, warehouse management, and IT digital transformation and management consultancy. While working in organizations like Infosys, Oracle, JSW, Aditya Birla Retail, Virtuous Retail, and presently in Embassy Group. Welcome, Chirag. We appreciate you for taking out time and joining us today.
Thanks, Kalpana. Thanks very much for having me here, and thanks to your entire team.
So, to begin up, we want to know more about you as a person. Of course, we'll be talking tech, but first, we want to know what fascinated you towards technology, how you started, and how's been your journey.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, interesting non-tech conversation to start with. Sure. I mean, essentially, I'm a mechanical engineer by education, followed by MBA in IT and systems, and during the course, engineering itself, I realized that my probably I just happened to get into NIIT for to get to know about computer in those days, and when I joined there, and I found that maybe this is something which excites me because among the group of around 15 odd people who were joining that course, I was one of the best at that point in time, and I did a lot of things, interesting things at that point in time. It was very early days, those good results when I was into NIIT, and I thought of how do I change my career from mechanical engineering to IT and systems. So having at that point in time, I took a conscious call along with my fellow peers that probably this is the right time to change the course, and if not now, then it will be probably never. And that was that then.
Wow.
Right. So then I opted for MBA in IT and systems, and that changed the shape of my or the contours of my career from mechanical engineering to IT and systems, and more so from a management perspective because it was an MBA as well. And during the MBA itself, again I took the passion of coding and worked on a lot of interesting projects like Hyderabad Management Association, where I coded their management system ground up upfront, and took my passion for coding to the next level while working and while doing the MBA. And I got a chance to work with Group, then Infosys, and then Oracle India happened. I worked for Oracle almost 5 years as a techno-functional consultant, and had an excellent time there in terms of learning, in terms of contributing to Oracle India. I said, now I need to grow, and I joined JSW Steel as a project manager, and the life changed because I changed from a multinational company, a marquee company of sort. Oracle was a big name in those days. Leaving Oracle and joining Indian company JSW was a big change, but I took the bait because I was growing in my career, and got into manufacturing domain, and that to a technology which was slightly different than what I used to work. So A, I changed the tech, B, I changed the domain. I worked there for 3 years. Within 1.5, 2 years, I was promoted because we did phenomenal things in terms of transforming the tech out there in JSW. Joined Aditya Birla Retail. Again, an interesting jump from manufacturing to retail. A complete different world. Manufacturing was more manual. Retail was very tech heavy with handheld devices in those days. I'm talking about again 2011 days. There were just too many things. Warehousing was completely scientific in nature. Coordinates, the time bound, all those things were coming into picture, and I took the bait again. Did very well within 1.5, 2 years. Got promoted there, and at some point in time, Aditya Birla took a call to centralize their functions, and they wanted me to move to Mumbai, and I was slightly reluctant to do that. And then I said, let me look for a change. And I got a chance to work with institutional startup called Virtuous Retail, which was backed by Xander Funds, one of the largest PE investors in real estate world. I joined them as a third employee and a first IT employee, and life has never been same from there on, because I worked with them for almost 6 years. I had a blank canvas to paint the IT roadmap and blueprint, and I can't thank my destiny and stars to join that company, because I grew leaps and bounds from that company. And then, we did a lot of fuss in the industry. We were one of the first in the real estate industry to launch an international version of a cloud-based ERP in 2013 days. And the testimony to that decision is that there are 15, 20 more players in this industry who are using that solution. We were one of the first to use the cloud-based, emailing solution and all those things. I mean, we were the first in the country to do a food court mobile app for a shopping mall, where you can do recharge, you can do top up, you can do order online, and the list goes on and on. These were all, first in the country to do, right? We were the first to launch the proximity marketing way back in 2014. So a lot of exciting things, a lot of things failed, a lot of things worked, a lot of things gave me the accolades and respect in the industry. And then I said, maybe it's time for me to expand my horizons after spending 6 years there. And I joined Embassy Group. Embassy Group, it's a leading developer with more than 3 decades of experience in the world of real estate, with interests spanning across residential apartments, commercial real estate, industrial parks, facility management, hotels, co-working, co-living, clubs, education, and the list goes on and on and on. And the reason why I joined here was, it was because they wanted someone to accelerate the digital transformation, and that's my passion, and that's where I thought this is what I want to do in my life. If there is an organization who's willing to, take a bet on an individual who is technology agnostic, who is domain agnostic, and willing to transform this organization, I think I said, this is what I wanted to do, and this is what probably my forte is. Having tasted success in my previous company, I joined here almost 2 years back, and yeah, life has been absolutely roller coaster ride. Having seen COVID-19 from close quarters after a year of my presence in this company, it is a fantastic ride and journey so far. So no complaints whatsoever on my journey so far, Kalpana.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing and interesting to know. And of course, as you rightly said, it's more like a roller coaster journey.
Yes.
What are your roles and responsibilities as a Group CTO at Embassy Group?
So pretty straightforward. I keep it very simple. I run the show for IT for the entire Embassy Group. Anything and everything, the buck stops with me. But as I was, probably talking, the real reason why I am here and I'm excited to be here is to accelerate the digital transformation in the Embassy Group across the different verticals. And it is not just for the Embassy Group, it is more from an industry perspective, because as we all know, I won't be hesitating, I'm more representing more from an industry perspective. You see, tech adoption in real estate has been more of a superficial level. That's a fact of life. It's above agriculture in terms of tech adoption. So, as an industry, when I say, so A is the foundation things. You have infra, you have core ERP, you have CRM, and the list goes on and on and on. These are all traditional, run-of-the-mill, keeping the lights on kind of work, which I do, where everything invariably rolls up to me. But, as I said, when I joined here almost 2 years back, I took a pause for almost 2.5 months to understand the business, from a customer perspective, to look at the transformation needs from a customer perspective. Then I started working with my business heads, the counterparts, the CEOs and heads of the businesses, and came up with a joint plan of a roadmap for 18 to 24 months predominantly. This was pre-COVID, by the way.
Okay.
Right. So let's take an example of residential business, or say facility management, or say office parks, or let's say co-living or co-working. For every business, we chalked out an 18 to 24-month roadmap for completely transforming the way we do the business. So it is not a disruption of sort, but it is something like where we need to evolve. We need to take this industry to the next level by bringing in the things which probably were the writing was there on the wall. It is just that it was inevitable for someone to come and then start pushing the boundaries and make things happen from that perspective. So that's what we did. That's what I did, and that's my job, to make that roadmap into a reality. That's my role.
Right. So how are digital technologies helping MSC Group to tide over the current COVID-19 crisis, especially when sector like hospitality and real estate are badly impacted?
19th of March, Embassy Group, the HR team, formally declared to work from home for our entire office, even before our PM, declared the lockdown for the nationwide lockdown, probably world's largest lockdown. I must tell you, and I must admit, and no exaggeration so whatsoever, 19th it was declared, and 20th the entire organization was up and running, working from home without any hassles. Now, do I take any credit for doing that? Probably not, because the years of investment on the tech gave results, right? That's what it is all about. That's what men versus boys story comes into picture, right? You invest, you think long term, and then work in that direction from a strategy perspective, that this is what is needed, right? And I told 19th the decision was taken. I must tell you that 19th of February, or probably 21st of February, I was working with the HR team that if we were to get into a sort of work from home strategy, what does it take to do? So we were looking at multiple options. So 85% of our work strength was using laptops. So we planned, exigency for remaining 15% or 15% of our workforce to arrange either the desktop shipment to their respective homes, or arranging laptops on rent. A couple of data cards, they were given to them, but they were never tested. Sometimes at home, so a particular operator's card works and B particular operator cards doesn't work. We need to give probably approvals for broadband, and all those decisions were took in a hurry, and then we get our act together. As we talk, from 19th of February, a month before, we were looking at what all solutions, what all applications would not work from work from home. So to give you a flavor, we had invested on firewalls, VPNs, so there was no issue whatsoever. I mean, all core systems, like whether it's SAP or homegrown legacy systems, they were all accessible through VPN if needed, and predominantly, other than the core ERP, everything was anyway on the cloud. So no great impact. But I must tell you, I keep telling this in other forums, that as a CTO, I happen to get one more resource in my team, that's called COVID Transformation Officer. I was probably having a chat with you in the beginning, if you remember. What it does is that we had invested a lot on video conferencing systems. We had invested on unified communication tools, one of our platforms which we are using with a big name without naming anyone. They were not used that much, right? If I have an office, if Bangalore is a pretty big city like Mumbai. From one part of the city, you have to go to other part of the city. We have multiple offices across the city and the country. So we used to travel a lot, even during the course of the day, to attend one meeting to another meeting. But what COVID did for us is that people started accepting, these unified communication solutions like Teams or Hangout or Zoom, as a de facto communication channel, which was not very well accepted in general in industry. We're not talking about digital first companies like Paytms and SAPs and Microsofts of the world. They are there because they are digitally first. We are talking about a brick and mortar company which thrives on brick and mortar, right? So personal relationship and all. So we transitioned that acceptance of a Zoom call or a Teams call actually became imminent, and now I proudly say that the kind of uptake which we have seen in terms of the way people used to interact originally versus how they are interacting now has seriously undergone a paradigm change in our organization. I'm pretty sure it is for the entire world, right? We all talk about the Zoom memes which we go through it, but I think it is a story across the industries, and we seem to be benefited. And as I said, the years of investment of tech, where I don't take any credit of that, I think Embassy had been doing it, and they have been pioneers in doing it. We capitalized on those investments and transitioned working from home. A lot of things which we, from if you talk about business applications perspective, pre-COVID, we used to call, and when I was, we remember we talked about the roadmap which we built for every business units. I used to call that, everything was revolving around customer from a digital transformation perspective. That was the core theme of my transformation. And then the operational efficiencies, then the other internal stakeholders like employees, vendors, and so on and so forth, right? We were working on an app which for our residential apartments, residential business, where from the time you procure the property till the time you move in, any and every aspect of your journey, any and every aspect, whether it's your eKYC, whether it's your agreements, whether your documents, whether your co-applicants, whether your invoices, payment, TDS, project status update, your milestone, your floor plan, your snagging. We were working on that tool any which ways pre-COVID. Only thing is, during the COVID, we were confident that this is going to be absolutely well accepted in the market, rather than worrying about whether industry will take it with an open-hearted way of working, right? To give an example of Olive, similar concept. From that, Olive is a co-living brand of ours. So from the time you search this property of ours, and then you have a booking experience, once you book, entire experience, whether you have events, whether you have food ordering, whether you want to extend the stay, your agreement signing, your KYC, your payments, your visitors, your seamless digital checkout, check-in, all that was pre-COVID designed for us, seamless experiences. We are still working on it, but the thing is, we used to call it seamless experience, and now we call it contactless experience, but the vision is pretty much there. Goalpost needs to be refined and retuned a bit in terms of, or reimagined a bit post-COVID a bit, but it doesn't change significantly. It is pretty much there what we wanted to do, and I feel that I think that it's all about the vision of transforming the way the customers were engaging with us, and that holds true even during the post-COVID. So I normally don't like to pivot my conversation around COVID, because it's a short-lived. I know it's a big event in the history, but nothing changes, because invariably we are committed for customers' excellence, and that commitment doesn't change. And all we are doing, and all we were doing, and all we are doing doesn't change anything for us.
Absolutely. COVID has brought some good things along with it, which is, of course, the digital part of it. So not just the businesses, but also the customer has understood that how they can actually use digital technologies. Now, earlier it was just the Z generation, who was more conversant towards these gadgets, the use of digital technologies. But now I think every age group is now into it.
I agree, completely agree. I think we were very confident that we had the kind of asset classes which I spoke about. We are pretty much everywhere in almost every realm or every spectrum of real estate. So we touch upon Gen Zs to millennials to actual HNIs as well, right? So we needed to come up with solution offering which transcends across these generations and still solve the purpose without any impediments. And I think that acceptance of these tech is pretty much there now. People know that this is the way to go. So life is easy for people like us in terms of pushing the transformation or accelerating the transformation and pervading into customers handheld mobile devices probably.
Due to COVID, has there been any impact on the business as a whole? I mean, technology has definitely bridged that gap. Okay, how we can enhance the customer experience and without, I mean, making it more contactless. But what about the business side of it? What kind of an impact you have seen in the real estate? Because what people usually know that okay, it has got badly impacted. So,
Yeah.
what would you like to comment on this?
Right. Yeah, I mean, safe harbor statement, these are all my personal views. But I must tell you, and I won't be hesitating in accepting that real estate was one of the industries which were impacted at some point in time during the lockdown significantly. But thankfully, Embassy Group has rather interest across the different segments of asset or different asset classes of real estate. So to give a perspective, let's start with the good things. We are pretty heavy on the commercial real estate, the business parks. We have predominantly it's occupied by marquee MNCs of the world, and we had consistent collections of more than 98, 99% across these lockdowns and non-lockdown months. So it didn't make much of a difference from a cash flow perspective from commercial real estate. From a, again, talking about that business, I don't see any immediate short-term impact because companies like IBM, Cognizant, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, KPMG, they are not short-lived. They don't think like, it's like 3 months or 6 months and they will turn off and, they will shut down this office and then they'll go somewhere else. No, that doesn't happen like that. So I personally feel short-term, medium-term, there is absolutely zero impact. Um, Long term, it balances out because a there could be a hybrid working solution coming into picture, which is what we've been talking about it. We've been hearing about it. It could be a fact of life. We human beings are wired to be social animal. We'll continue to be working from office and home to get the sense of comfort of both the worlds. But if you look at it, de-densification of these offices will happen. Like people need more space. Earlier 100 square feet was given for one individual resource. Now probably it will become 125. So 25% additional stuff could be, probably settled with people working from home. So I don't see any great impact. As such, it'll actually average out, no big deal. But what has also happened is that last couple of 3 months or so, we have seen a serious interest from global captive centers perspective. India was big, and Bangalore, being Bangalore, Silicon Valley of India, was very, very big on captive centers, and the interests have gone up only. It has not gone down because of COVID. Because now the world has realized that who's working from where, it doesn't make much of a difference. So as long as there is a tech talent, as long as there is a capability, as long as there is an accountability of the deliverables, I think people are going to do this. The term Bangalore will come into fore all over again. So that's the commercial real estate. A couple of months, first 2-3 months, yes, we had some impact on the residential business, but we did record sales. During the unlock days, we had a huge number of sales which came up because people realized the value of good quality homes. People realized better to be in a place where they can enjoy living rather than dragging their life. So we saw an uptake in residential business after a lull. Not denying on the hospitality business as such, the hotels were impacted. They continue to be impacted. The headwinds are bad. We see a great tailwinds for our co-working business because I think smaller companies, startups, and mid-tier companies, they are looking at flexible workspaces a lot, and because that gives them the freedom to upgrade, downgrade the capacity easily, which WeWork provides, and WeWork being the leader in the industry. It's completely controlled by Embassy. I think we see a sizable tailwinds from that perspective. So clubs, businesses, yes, slightly impacted, but we have captive audience, respective complex, so not much of an impact. Co-living, we were thankfully not very big, so we were not impacted, but we are very bullish. We aspire to have 1,000 beds by end of 2021, and we have only less than 100 as of now. So we were not impacted, but we were bullish. We took this as an opportunity amidst this pandemic times. and started working with landlords to create a win-win ecosystem. So all in all, I see that there were lots of opportunities in adversities like this.
Absolutely. So, what are the digital tech interventions that one needs to do in the current situation to make the organization agile and adaptable to the business needs?
COVID or no COVID, what COVID has done is that it accelerated the trends that were inevitable. There's no denying. E-commerce, the writing was on the wall, right? It was knocking the doors. We kept on talking about retail apocalypse. Remember, e-commerce was picking up. It will continue to pick up, right? So, all in all, a simple response to your question is that keeping in mind the trends of the industry, keep solving the customer problems, and keep solving the stakeholders problem, right? And stakeholders need not be restricted only to the customers, and we have our own employees, we have a vendor ecosystem to talk to. All of them have to come together to transform the way we work, right? So it's all about the tech is evolving, it keeps on changing. It's not about tech anything actually, it's nothing to do with tech. It's the business transformation which makes or breaks the deal, right? And business transformation, when we talk, it brings in all these stakeholders together in an ecosystem, and then we need to try and improvise the experiences. Now, we talked about customers, couple of solutions, whether it's Ole, whether the co-living or residential business. We are working for business parks, a lot of solutions which will genuinely revolutionize the way that we engage with our employees who walk into these business parks. But let me give an example of HR transformation. We are coming up with actually HR 3.0 kind of a solution. 3.0, I mean, I'm not even doing 2.0. I'll leave from 1.0 to 3.0 because things have changed. We can't work on a traditional orthodox, client server solutions and all, and things have changed. The Gen Zs and millennials of the world want these solutions to be as easy as using a WhatsApp or Uber or Ola. So we need to be aspiring, and we need to be taking inspiration from these companies and bring in the solutions which can cater to their needs in similar fashion what Uber does. So whether in terms of applying leaves, getting balances, or getting the pay slips, or filling the expenses, you can't do a client server solution and all. That's all dated now. It's all about bots doing everything for you. We have brought in bots to our employee onboarding. We are putting bots together to do all sort of engagements which you can think of, like whether leave application, leave balance, leave policy. You don't have to run, you don't have to go through the policy handbook and all. You ask him to get it, right? That's the transformation. That's the experience which you need to bring into all your stakeholders. And as I said, it is not restricted only to the customers. You should not, because if your employees are not happy, if your employees are not empowered, they will not be able to cater to your customers. And then invariably everything breaks down. The chain breaks, the value chain breaks, right? So then we need to work to bring the entire ecosystem together to transform. So vendors are also part of it, partners, business associates, support staff. Everyone need to be together in this journey. And that's what my job is, to bring everyone on board in the journey of this transformation.
Right. But post COVID-19, what are the specific change in technology trends you have witnessed among clients in India and globally?
I think what I've seen is that, a lot of things which used to probably, we were comfortable doing things manually, signing piece of paper, meeting in person for every damn thing, calling up everyone saying, where is my agreement? I don't see my invoice in my mailbox and all. These are all good. Good stuff to see, because this all has to change. And it was, again, as I said, the writing was there on the wall. It was inevitable. These things were changed. Anything to do with which was contactful should become contactless. We always worked on multiple things and apps for everything, right? And as long as there is a stickiness to it, we actually launched Embassy Community, one of the apps for our community, our apartments, dwellers who live in embassy properties. Invoices, payments, your vehicle, your maid, your parcel management, your services, everything has been brought into a click of a mouse. We have already rolled it out now. Now that, if we won't have been ready pre-COVID, things would have been really difficult, right? And these are hygiene now, right? Digital transformation was never optional, but now, after COVID, it has become crucial in nature. That's the difference.
Absolutely. So tell us more about the Embassy Group now. What are the highlights of Embassy Group's digital transformation journey?
What we are going to do is for office parks, we have been working on something which completely revolutionized the way I'm talking about the extended employees, like the employees of Cognizance and IBMs of the world who work from our campuses, right? They are not B2C, they are B2B2C, right? So we are working for an engagement solution where anything and everything they do in terms of sports facility booking, in terms of booking a doctor for an appointment at the business park, laundry services to ordering food online to name a thing. I mean, it's all on a click of a mouse. Visitor management to parking solutions. We'll bring everything on together on a single platform. So we're working tirelessly to completely transform. Co-living is a new business which we have ventured. So there's no baggage. It's a clean canvas for me, and we feel that the entire business can be centered around the technology, unlike a brick and mortar world. So we are very committed to bringing tech and as a fulcrum of this co-living business and do a lot of things for WeWork. We recently launched an on-demand solution, like taking the flexible workspace to the absolutely next level, where earlier it used to book a desk or a cabin for a month, right? Now we are saying, okay, when Uber can be booked for an hour, why don't we book the space for an hour? Why not? Absolutely possible, right? And we have come up with that solution by already up in the market. So this is what is the adaptability of, or you respond positively to an opportunity which has been created by a diversity or an adversity.
What are the main challenges in digital transformation for large and mid-sized organizations?
I think it's all about business heads or CXOs of the world. If they have an understanding, if they have a buy-in on your vision, and if we are jointly co-creating the roadmap, I think transformation is imminent. It is inevitable. So it's all about bringing the right stakeholders together on board in the journey, and it is not technology. It is all about business.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.